and welcome to R&R's Ask the Expert. I'm your host, Valerie King, R&R's editor-in-chief, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, Diana Rodriguez-Zaba. Diana is partner at ServiceMaster Restoration by Zaba, which is a family-owned disaster restoration and cleaning company with locations in Chicago and Skokie, Illinois, serving Chicago and the surrounding suburbs since 2008. Diana is the winner of R&R's 2022 Women in Restoration Award, which is our annual award recognizing leading women within the restoration industry. This is the award program's 7th year, and Diana rose to the top of a very impressive list of 46 nominees. And all nominations were reviewed by a panel of judges based on journey and experience in the industry, job growth and future reach, industry and community involvement, and awards and certifications. A huge congratulations to you, Diana, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Valerie. I'm really excited to be here and talk to you about my journey to entrepreneurship.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you, and I'm so eager to learn more about your story. So let's start with the role you play at ServiceMaster Restoration by Zaba today. What would you say your high-level objectives are and your day-to-day responsibilities?
Well, I deal with a lot of the office operations, so anything that's to do with marketing, accounting, just all the financials, and I do some of the HR stuff when it comes to our staff, and I take on the bigger construction projects. So that's usually what I work on every day is like, where are we with construction, and just dealing with the permit process, and then in between I deal with who does my marketing, who does my bookkeeping, my accounting, anything that's to do with the office operations.
Thank you. And can you offer an overview of ServiceMaster Restoration by Zaba?
Sure. So we service all the city of Chicago and the North Shore suburbs, and we do fire and water restoration. We do some hoarder cleanup, mold, trauma, and we also travel for natural disasters, and we do construction. And then we just, during COVID, ramped up our residential services. So now we're doing more carpet and upholstery cleaning.
Okay. I noticed in going through the nominations, you have an impressive list of certifications and awards. Would you mind sharing those with us?
Sure. So I'm certified for fire, water, and mold. And then as far as awards go, I have the CFO award from the Daily Herald, and I have an entrepreneurship award from Stanford for a Latino entrepreneurship course. And recently, last year, I got an Enterprising Woman of the Year award. And we do get regular yearly awards from ServiceMaster, which is when you show year-over-year growth. So our company does receive those awards as well. And then our Women in Restoration Award. So
Thank you for that. So, how did you end up where you are today? What was your path to restoration and through it once you entered?
well, I started buying properties when I was 18. So ever since I can remember, my dad's like half my real estate. So at 18, I started buying properties, and my dad taught me how to restore them. So I wasn't buying and flipping; I was just buying them, fixing them, and renting them out. So I started doing that at 18. But at the same time, I was also setting up franchises for a big chain restaurant. So I had franchising experience under my belt, and I kind of saw what that meant. And then from there, it was always like, I have to own my own company. What that was going to be, I didn't know. And then when the opportunity presented itself to purchase a franchise, then that's what my husband and I did.
Wow. So above and beyond to be investing in properties and restoring them at age 18 and becoming a real estate a landlord and a not a flipper, but yeah, to your point, a restorer. 18. Wow. Okay, so what areas of restoration do you personally consider your specialties?
My specialties, I actually enjoy the construction side of it more. I love working with the customers on selecting finishes, paint colors, giving them ideas on tiles, and just seeing them, just putting that together, the design together for them is what I enjoy the most. And at the end of the day, that's the last thing they see on the job. You go through the mitigation process, the construction, and then it's what they walk into every day. And so I enjoy doing that the most.
All right. And what other aspects do you enjoy most about the work you do and why?
Well, one of the things that I love doing is working with my staff. Being a successful entrepreneur is what everybody wants to do, but then just getting the satisfaction of knowing that I'm helping my employees, it just that really brings me joy. I hire a lot of women because I feel like women need to be more mentored, they need to be coached, and I had that along the way. So I want to be that person for the women that I hire and the women that I mentor outside of work. So just helping them see their potential in the office, and it's great. I love it. I mean, they show me like how they negotiated something and how they were able to increase an estimate and how they stuff like that. So that brings me so much joy because I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, what I want to do.
Thank you. I'm excited to dig deeper into that role you play as a mentor later and in your embracing of fellow women in restoration and helping them get into this industry. Before we get there, what about projects? Would you say there is a most memorable project you have? If so, what might that be?
So years ago, during one of our normal polar vortexes, we had this house near the downtown area, and all the pipes burst. So we were literally ice skating in the house. It was like a 5,000 square foot home, and they had just bought it, so it was empty and everything. It was like an igloo. It looked like we were in a movie. It was so cool. But actually, last week we got a high profile job. It was like a trauma. It was in the news. And that really is one of those that's going to stick with me for a very long time. It was an 80-year-old woman who she's fine, but some guy with mental health has just broke into her home, and he had her hostage, and you can see throughout the entire home, um, he bled, and it was just like blood everywhere. And when you see that, you're like, oh my god, like this is it's scary to see that. But then you see the homeowner, and she's 80 years old, and everything that she had to go through during those 18 hours of being held hostage, she is like in great spirits. She's wise, she's witty, she's laughing and making jokes, and she calls her office every day and just to say like how much she loves our staff and how she feels so safe with them. And we're like, oh well, that's great. We always love to hear that, but just knowing everything that she went through, because obviously since we were there, we got the really gruesome details. And then you see her, and it's like, wow, lady, you're a beast. So that's one that, and it's going to be an ongoing project with her. So that really just that's definitely going to be one to remember.
Thank you for sharing both of those. Yeah, I can only imagine what that must have been like. It sounds like a remarkable situation, and it's awesome that she feels so satisfied with the service she's getting and she's sharing that with you all. Okay. I want to ask about growth, which is, of course, a critical aspect of the Women in Restoration Award. I read that by the age of 25, you had operated an independent restoration business and purchased your own ServiceMaster franchise. Then, that by 2015, you had 6 licenses across the Chicago metro area, becoming one of the top 5 largest franchises in Chicago, which is one of the biggest cities in the US. So, what was that like? What went into such impressive growth from a business and a personal perspective?
Well, when my husband and I started our company in 2008, our independent company, it was because we both had jobs, and we were going to be getting laid off. It was when the recession hit, so people were losing their jobs, and I had never been unemployed, so I was like, I don't know how to manage what I already have. I have properties, and so one of the things we did is we combined our skills, and we're gonna start our own company, which was hard because people were losing their homes, and we obviously work in their homes. But we just kept going. People were like, you're not, what are you doing? You're starting a company, and it's at the wrong time. But we just kept going. And so we were very fortunate to pick up jobs, and we, door to door handed out flyers and just did whatever we could. And then I said, you know what, we've got a franchise. Like, I'm familiar with franchising, and if we want to step it up during this time, that's what we need to do. So we looked into different franchises, and at the time, there weren't many licenses. There wasn't much available, but ServiceMaster had a janitorial. Um, they were doing some janitorial program for women to apply for licenses. So I'm like, let's just apply. That's the only thing that's out there, and let's see what happens. And so we applied, and I got a call from someone at ServiceMaster, and they wanted to meet with us. And when they came down to meet with my husband and I, we met at a local Starbucks. We actually sold them on what we do. Like, this is we're city folks. We're better at doing restoration, rehabbing, construction, and they were able to find someone who was selling a license in the city of Chicago. And so that kind of just opened the doors. So with that, we purchased 4 licenses. And then I ended up being able to stay at my job. So I was navigating both. So I was never at home. I was like really early at the office, went to work, came back during lunch, went back to work, came after work. And then 5 years in, I left. I was like, it's time for me to leave and focus on the company. And then we had developed relationships with different franchises. And one of the ladies, she was getting ready to sell her license. And because we were so close with her and we helped her out so much, she sold us her license, and it was a pretty large license. So that was around 2015. And then that's when we purchased our second facility, just because we were outgrowing where we were at the moment. And yeah, that's how it all took off from there.
Wow, thanks for sharing that and just your journey and what it was like to gain the licenses of the and become a franchisee on multiple levels, and then the grit that went into those early days. Wow, juggling a job, a full time job, plus being a business owner. Very cool journey. So, looking more to at today, of course, adaptation and evolution are important to business growth as well, and of course, sustainability and sometimes unforeseen events like the onset of COVID-19 in 2020 call for those really swift adjustments that can't necessarily be planned. I was wondering if you could share an example or a few of how your franchise has stepped up to moments like these and adapted in order to serve customers.
So when COVID hit, we had to take some time to evaluate, like, okay, what is it, what we had to talk to our staff, because we were hearing things in the media every day. This is safe, this is not safe, people want you in their house or they don't. And so and also cleaning chemicals were low, and there was just a lot of fears, right? So we needed to talk to our staff and tell them, like, hey, you know cleaning, biohazard cleanups is what we've done. So this isn't any different. We just have to take extra precaution. And fortunately, all of our staff were willing to just jump right in. So our general manager met with them daily, made sure they had their masks, their gloves, and so we just started cleaning commercial spaces. We did. We only dealt with commercial. We didn't do any residential, and we did say we're only going to do preventative cleanings. We didn't do any exposed cleanings, just because we wanted our staff to feel safe as well. But we had we had quite a few commercial jobs, and we kept some accounts with them. And then it helped us also grow our residential side. So, because our carpet cleaning, our upholstery cleaning, and our ductwork cleaning. So we were able to upsell that. So we actually had one of our best years doing that. And we did it for about, I want to say, just for 2021, starting this year, I mean, for 2020 and some of 2021. And then we just focused on disaster restoration afterwards. But during the time of COVID, there were a lot of riots that were breaking out too. So our communities, our neighborhoods, the businesses were affected. And we helped board up, clean glass, and we were more involved with the community as well. So the employees felt really good about themselves during that time because they were helping people. So yeah, it was actually one of our best years.
Wow. It's so intriguing how, yeah, taking on those projects that are, again, out of nowhere, not planned, and just taking them on and embracing that opportunity, serving the community, served your business. So that I thought was cool in reading your nomination. Uh, Beyond growing your business itself, I understand you are passionate about helping your team grow. Can you elaborate on your approach to employee development?
Yeah, so a lot of my staff have been with me for over 5 years. And I have to do everything I can to keep them. They're great employees. So one of the things that we do a lot, I don't have group meetings very frequently. I have them like quarterly. I like doing more of the one-on-one because it gives them more of a special attention, and they know that they're important when you just talk to them on a one-on-one basis. So each employee, just to keep it simple, I like to simplify everything. Each employee has a checklist, and that checklist is okay. Where are you now? What have you done? Do we need to get you certified? You're certified now. Are you doing the following things? And we give them a plan and expect them to get to the next level so that we can eventually get them to sketching, filling out paperwork, talking to the client, just showing them their opportunities. A lot of them just they get stuck in the everyday thing, and they need people to show them like they can do better, or how they're important in the company, and how we need them and they need us. So it's the one-on-ones really that helps us just grow everyone. And so my office staff, they also have their checklist is a little bit different. So it's like how to get them to process claims, negotiate the claims, start getting into construction and the permit process. And yeah, so just things like that. And then we just offer them a lot of like benefits to just keep them motivated as well.
Very helpful to know, especially in this tight labor market, that you are really proactively taking that initiative to help advance them and not just encourage it, but support the actual path to advancement. In addition to your internal employees, I read that you support the growth of young women interested in the restoration industry through mentorship with Step Up. I know you sort of alluded to this earlier. Can you share more about this program and your involvement?
Yes, so Step Up is a program where we help young girls who are transitioning from high school into college. And it's giving them just like the resources and motivating them. A lot of them don't have too much confidence about themselves. So it's just pushing them out of their comfort zone. And a lot of them come from low income families, or where both mom and dad work and they don't have anyone to talk to them and push them and motivate them. So that's the what we do as mentors at Step Up. And then that gives me the opportunity to just show them, like, a lot of them still don't know what they want to do. So then I talk to them about what we do, and how women are very important and what we do and the roles that we play. And from there stemmed the opportunity for me to us work on implementing like an internship type of program for the summer. So that's something that I'm working on. But yeah, so we work with the girls on that, and I offer them to come and work with me during the summer. And I communicate with them through email. So that's been very helpful. I like, just giving them that confidence to do better. That's one of the things that I enjoy. And then I also work with DePaul. I'm one of the founders of the Women's Entrepreneurship Program. And so that's helping women start up, just giving them the resources and helping them navigate through the startup of a business, and then just mentoring them. So that's one of the things that I enjoy doing, is helping the younger generation that's going to be taking over our industry, and then helping these other businesses help their startups.
So fitting for this conversation and this award that you are helping guide and inspire other women and even young women to this industry and help them thrive, and outside of this industry as fellow entrepreneurs. I know that well, continuing the theme of serving others beyond your own business, I know that you have introduced a training facility. So I'd like to learn more about that. What's that about and who's it for?
So when COVID hit, we were in the process of purchasing this facility because we outgrew where we were at, and we didn't have the space to do what we wanted to do. So the we bought this facility, and it's 30,000 square feet. And so we were able to expand the services that we wanted to grow in. But one of the things that was very important to me was having a training room. And in this training room is to, and just because we're in the city of Chicago, there aren't, that I know of, many facilities this size in the city, which is a great thing, and for us. And then having a training facility in there helps us to, if adjusters need to get continuing education credits or agents, any restoration company that needs to get their employees certified. So we're going to be hosting those kind of trainings in our facility, but as well as putting together trainings. So I'm in the process of talking to community colleges and high schools so that we can bring students in and come up with some type of curriculum to showcase what the restoration industry is, and then talk about guidelines and what we do, and just show them, just having people come in and talk about something. We're still figuring out how we're going to set that up, but that's one of my my major projects that's coming up this year, because I feel like it's a great way to let the younger generation know about our industry, and at the same time, hey, maybe I can hire some while they're going to school, come work with me in the summer or when you're off. Just having that seasonal work too, that helps. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to. But bringing people into our facility and just getting them trained, I think it's great getting them certified. That way, a lot of people live in the city, and they don't have to go really far out to the suburbs. You don't know what transportation looks like for some people. So I think this is a really great location to, to help other people get certified, and just, I think, certification.
Really neat idea and initiatives you're working on, from serving fellow stakeholders who work with the restoration industry to restoration industry peers to potential restoration industry pros. It's really cool to see what you have up your sleeves, and I'm excited to kind of follow that journey as time goes on. So, a lot of what we've pointed to or talked about right now points to leadership as much as growth. So, I'm curious how you would sum up your leadership style.
I would like to say I'm kind of like a transformational leader, if that makes any sense. I like to, there's many roles that I play in the company, and I feel like I lead those very well. But my passion really is seeing people evolve. So if my staff, my managers, my technicians, if they're all doing their job and they're doing well and they continue to grow, that makes things easier for me, because they grow, my company grows, and I feel very confident about what everyone's doing out in the field. So it's the one-on-one, and it's just developing them. Everyone is so different. Everyone has so many different personalities, and I think after COVID hit, people's just personalities shifted a little bit, and I saw that in my staff, not in a negative way, just in a different way. So it was kind of like back to the drawing board with some of the staff, and then we figured out people's strengths, different strengths. So it's just pulling those strengths out and thinking outside of the box and pushing them out of their comfort zone. So I feel like, I need to lead my team, but I have to develop my team so they can be leaders. And that's what I do. I build leaders so that they can continue to lead. And then I show them, like, you're amazing, you're great. Like, you need to take this other person and show them how to be like you. So then that makes them feel more confident. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say I'm a transformational leader.
I love that. Staffing has actually come up a lot in different ways so far. I'm curious, staffing being the top challenge restoration companies face right now. Um, I'm wondering what your experience has been like as a business with staffing, and in your opinion, what needs to be done to help the industry address this challenge area?
I think what the industry needs to do is show staff, either the ones that you already have working for you or the ones you're currently hiring for, the potential that there is in this industry. There's a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity for growth, and there's definitely, a good salary tied to it if you're, meeting those steps of progression, and you're growing. So because it is really hard right now for our industry. We're competing with those companies that are, offering so much that we can't offer. And, because there's a lot of smaller restoration companies. but just we've been able to keep our staff for a very long time. And they're very loyal. We do have, our ups and downs occasionally because we've been together so long. We're like family. But just keeping them, reassuring them that they have a part in the company, that they're important, they have a good, they have an important role, and then, offering them benefits, it helps. Their benefits, their 401k, their medical plans. It was hard to implement some of those things, especially when the company is struggling or things like that. But we know that our staff is gonna, they work hard. So we always acknowledge them. And then, so when we hire staff, we also talk to them about, this is what we do, why it's important to the industry, and why, why customers look at us as like their saviors, really, because we walk into the door and so it makes them feel good. So it's constantly like motivating them. Now, as far as like hiring, we had a really hard time finding staff. A lot of times, my technicians, they'll refer friends and family, which is great. And it's great that they do that because they feel confident in bringing them into our facility. But we were kind of stuck for a while, and we kept growing. And I went a little old school, and I put signs around our facility like, we're hiring, join our team, we're lots of fun, just like. So we got a lot of applicants. Not They weren't all candidates, but we did get a lot of applications. And I think out of like maybe 70, we probably got 2 good people out of it. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into hiring and keeping staff. But I think that the more that we show how important we are and the role that we're hiring and the position, and will help us bring more people on board. We just have to show how important their role is.
Thank you for that, for sharing your experience with this struggle of staffing and the ideas that you have, in addition to all the other ones about creating this pipeline of future talent for the industry overall. You are the winner of the Women in Restoration Award. So I must ask, what has it been like navigating a not only male, but also white dominated space as a double minority, a woman and a Latina?
Yes. So growing up, it was me and my 3 brothers, right? So I was really feisty, and my parents were very like think outside of the box people. So they were always like, like figure it out. You need to, work with whatever. So I figured out how to navigate 3 brothers, and then ever since I started working, I've always been around men. Like men were the majority of any position that I had, any office that I worked in. So my dad was really a key role in helping me navigate some of that. Like, you belong, you're just, as equal, and, just raise your voice like, you would with your brothers. So he always pushed me, and so did my mom. But then as I got into college, I had mentors. I had a Hispanic male who mentored me for many, many years. And then I had a minority woman mentor me. And just along the way, they would give me bits and pieces of advice on how to navigate a certain issue that was happening. And yeah, I think that that's what helped me. So I think, definitely we need mentors. We need mentors, and we need people that are going to push us and not hold us back. So anyone that's holding you back, you have to get away from them. But you need those people that are going to push you and motivate you. And now, like in this industry, I learn a lot from my husband. He's usually like, here, deal with it. I'm like, okay, but he's coached me a lot. He's showed me a lot, and I think that that's given me the confidence to just own the room when I have to. So yeah, I think that mentorship is really, really important into, just breaking that glass ceiling, just getting through everything.
It's so neat how you are paying that forward with all of your mentoring that you offer now. I would love to know what advice you have for other women and underrepresented individuals who are looking to advance in restoration like you have.
I would say knowledge up, like, attend trainings, webinars, look at videos, read information, because the more you know, the more information you have, to just deal with any situation or, be part of a conversation. One of the things that has helped me a lot is building a book of references and vendors. So, sometimes like I'll have a situation where, it's just, I feel like it's a little too much for me to handle, and I'll just look through my book and I'm like, I spoke to this person one time, and I'll call and, they'll give me some advice. So I think it's definitely building relationships, one-on-one relationships. Which ones are more important to you? Because, you can't have like, we don't have enough time to talk to so many people, but if you can build, your book of references and vendors and just people that you can call, you could definitely navigate any situation. But yeah, so I look at a lot of YouTube, I read a lot of articles, webinars, and I learn the systems. And then sometimes I just, when I'm out in the field, when I'm with an adjuster, like I just talk to them. So it's just the more knowledge you have, then people give you more credit.
Thank you. As we near the end of the interview, I'm curious what you would say your biggest career related lesson is up to this point.
I would say my biggest career, it's know the value of your time. You have to charge for your time. Like, what is your time worth? I get a lot of emails and phone calls that somebody wants to talk about this and that, and before I used to take on every phone call and every conversation, and then I was like, and I'm like, was it really worth it? So it's knowing how valuable your time is. And same thing with our staff. I don't know if we're one of the few companies that charges for estimates. I don't hear too many companies charge for estimates if they're out in the field, but I can go to 20 estimates a day. And so it's been several years now where we're like, no, it's our time, we're charging for it. So if you want us to go out there, it's a fee. And we actually haven't had too much pushback, and it's explaining to the customer, this is what we charge, this is why we charge this much, and this is what you're going to get for that. And it's really helped a lot with our sales, because those customers that pay for something are committed. So it's charging for your time. And when I have employees out in the field, that's my time. So that's one of the biggest things that I learned is don't give away your time.
Thanks for that. Good takeaway. So, what would you say your go to resources for inspiration and education are?
I read a lot of articles on LinkedIn. There's one that catches my attention. I read it. I read R&R magazine. I think you guys have great people that provide a lot of insight. And yeah, so I read things that I just see online. Honestly, like my day is so full. I don't know if when I get in the car, I don't really listen to much stuff, but one of my biggest books that I turn to whenever I need anything, whether it's inspiration or I'm just questioning things, is I'm a big person. I'm on my faith. Like my faith is big to me, so I read my Bible all the time. Sometimes my husband's like, this person, and like to be a customer or whatever, and I was like, well, like the Bible says, and he's like, okay, yeah, that's one of the things that I do is I read my Bible, and I like to inspire my staff with it. A lot of times, they have issues, and I pray with them and for them, and they appreciate that. But yeah, I think for the most part, if I'm stuck with something or I need something, I just pick up the phone and call someone. And then I just, like any person nowadays, we just scroll through a phone and read articles. So that's what I do.
Thank you. All right. My last question is not it's last but not at all least. Can you share a little bit with us about yourself outside of work and what you do in your free time, family, hobbies, any of that?
Yeah. So I enjoy puzzles. So when I'm at home, and like I usually do them outside in the spring or in the winter, I like to sit outside, I have my lattes, and I just do puzzles, and everyone leaves me alone. So I enjoy that. But with my husband, I have this thing where we do date night every other weekend. So I enjoy that. We go to concerts, movies, dinners. That is like my favorite thing to do. So it's every other weekend families, every other weekend we do our date nights. And then I absolutely love like my friends. So we have our Friday night girl nights and I'm happy. I love just having like good people around me. And that's really what I do. I have no hobbies. I don't run. I don't I don't do any of that. But I enjoy people. I like being around people. And then if I have any free time, I just catch up on Netflix.
Love it. That's great. That's perfect. Family, friends, Netflix. And it's also cool that you always have something to look forward to, essentially weekly or twice a week. So that's neat. Uh, Before we go, where can our listeners go to connect with you or learn more about ServiceMaster Restoration by Zaba?
Well, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. They can just look Diana Rodriguez-Zaba. I'm on LinkedIn. And then on my website, it's servicemasterbyzaba.com. And my phone numbers there are my email, everything, and I'm pretty good at looking at stuff, emails, and yeah, a lot of people just they find me, they connect through there, and I'm always happy to talk to anyone.
Well, thank you so much for your time and insight, Diana, and a huge congratulations again on being the winner of the 2022 R&R Women in Restoration Award. You are so deserving. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Valerie.
Absolutely. Listeners and viewers, you can learn more about Diana, our first and second runners up, and this year's Women in Restoration Award judges in the April 2022 R&R e-magazine, plus on our website. Also, please keep your eyes open and your ears peeled for nominations to reopen for next year's, that's 2023, Women in Restoration Award in the second half of this year. And for more insights on restoration, remediation, and the people behind it all, visit our website, randrmagonline.com, also Apple or Spotify. If you haven't yet, please be sure to follow the podcast so you can keep up with all of our latest episodes as they come. And if you could give us a quick review and rating, we'd so appreciate it. We're also on social, on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, so we invite you to follow us there too. This has been R&R's Ask the Expert, a very special edition. Thank you for listening.